Lydia Walter. Why East Coast Bowhunting Podcast?
Because neither one of us wear pink camo.
East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Look, man, I'm from Wisconsin. I listen to the East Coast Bowhunters because you don't get anything more real than these guys.
Because East Coast Bowhunting sets the standards for keeping its listeners informed on everything that matters in the hunting industry.
It's nice having somebody, local and represent the East Coast boys.
The East Coast is going to saddle up.
Number one source for slaying whitetails on the East Coast.
Well, you might see Jesus if you actually do something, it'll get you into heaven.
Why East Coast? Why not? I'm East Coast, baby. That's how we roll. Chew on that.
Come on the show, a stranger, and you feel like one of the boys when you leave.
Because I get my hunting camp anytime I want.
There's some absolute monsters roaming the East Coast, and I think it needs a little attention, so why not bring it to the East Coast Bowhunters Podcast?
Man, because East Coast is a tight-knit crew, and y'all like me. Raw, real, no bullshit.
Because you guys are hometown boys. I love you guys.
East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
This is Kurt Geyer with Working Class Bowhunter, and East Coast Bowhunting Podcast is the only hunting podcast I'll tune into.
Welcome to the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. I'm your boy D-Rock here with Trev.
Ryan.
We're here in Des Moines at the Iowa Deer Classic, and it's on fire. This episode is brought to you by Shabim Brewing, the Hunter's Beer. 100 Demons, East Coast Hardcore Music. Trev's Euros, for all your Euromount needs. Outright Hunting, the last bow hanger you'll ever buy. Death Wish Coffee, fueled by death. Ethics Archery, it's like steroids for your arrows. Nor'easter Game Calls, get 'em in close. Wild Edge Inc., the leader in mobile hunting. Powered by Scranton Motors and Power Motorsports. And the show is presented by Working Class Bowhunter. Not just a podcast, but the brand in the hunting industry. East Coast Bowhunting Podcast is here as always for new and old hunters by sharing our experiences in the woods through playing and slaying. What's up?
What's up, D-Rock?
How we doing, boys?
Oh, we're doing good. We're blessed by the presence of Jason Syens from Thrasher Products. And we're here to talk about the Thrasher game call. Welcome, Jason. Thank you for your time.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for having me on. How are you guys?
Really good, man.
Doing
really
well.
Good.
Good.
You happy that we're on the last day of the Iowa Deer Classic or what?
It's been, yeah, I'm really happy. I'll be, tonight's going to be a good night to get home.
Yes,
Yep.
I agree. I'm not used to working on a Sunday, being Christian and all, but I'll take it for the better good, for the love of the game,
Right on?
Yeah.
Right on.
So let's cut into it. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and where we can find you.
Well, my name is Jason Syens. Where I'm from is Wisconsin. I live close to Wisconsin Dells, the water park capital of the world. I really live in Portage, Wisconsin, which is just outside of the Dells, but most everyone knows where the Dells is. But I got into this business with Todd back in 2008 when it was White Knuckle Productions. We still have White Knuckle Productions.
Nice.
We have a web show and podcast as well.
And what's Todd's last name for our
Todd
listeners?
Prignitz.
Okay.
Prignitz. Yep. So he would be the mastermind behind the Tree Thrasher name and then the Thrasher game call. It essentially started out as Tree Thrasher, but it morphed into Thrasher game call because of trademark reasons and other things like that. So that's the umbrella it sat under. And as we began to realize that we had something here. Really, Todd had something here. What I have invested in it is minuscule in comparison with where he's at.
And time and thought, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But you may be a good attribute in the science of it all?
The science of it, absolutely. Yeah. So, just to talk a little bit about how this product was born, Todd was and let me just say, Todd's not with us anymore. Todd passed away Monday after a bad ATV accident, and aside from a friendship, we've had a business partnership for a long time as well.
Right.
But I guess going back just a couple days when I got to go through his office and figure out where everything is and figure out how to deal with, the manufacturers of the pieces of the call and things like that, I got to look through his stuff and I got to realize a lot of things about him that I didn't know, what an artist he was. He was always thinking of a product that would make your life easier, climbing up a tree, sitting in a tree, filming a hunt, whatever the case may be. So, but anyway, how this product was born, the Thrasher call, the Thrasher game call was, he just kept coming up with a way to augment, everybody grunts, and Todd hated rattling with a passion. He hated it. Because he would go out and sit on his ground and hear everybody else rattling, and that irritated him. But he felt like when he grunted, he wasn't painting a big enough picture. So the way I always explain it to people is this call is, it will simulate, leaves crunching, exactly, a twig snapping, exactly, and then obviously the thrashing of antlers on a tree. Yeah, something like
close
that.
Enough.
Exactly like that, but different.
Yeah.
So Todd was always thinking out of the box, and October 19th, 2016, he called me at 9-something p.m. I was already in bed, laying, watching TV, and he told me this whole idea. And I'm like, after I listened to it, I'm like, are you drunk? Are you hammered? Yeah. And he's like, shut up. This is a great idea. And I'm like, you're crazy. I don't get it, man. Yeah. And oddly enough, I had a podcast scheduled with Dr. Grant Woods. And
cool.
I asked Dr. Woods, what do you think about this? I didn't, want to give up the goods on the call, but I wanted to ask him what he thought about it. And he's like, it's a good idea. He's like, I just don't know how you'd put that all together in one call. I'm like, oh, all right, maybe Todd wasn't drunk.
Yeah.
So I could get behind it at that point. I really still didn't get it, but I just ran with it. And Todd was the engineer of it all, and I took care of the marketing, and that's kind of how it was born. We launched in August of last year, and it's been nothing short of successful since then.
Heck yeah, and we're all for it because that's what we're here to do, bring the Midwest to the East Coast. There's a lot of people that can't make that haul that we did. It's pretty brutal, but it's worth it once you get here. And we really want to exploit all the new products of the show and just get it out there. So this way people have options or even new ideas that they never even thought of. Mm-hmm. And this being said, if can I see that for a second, Trev? This is perfect because we're sponsored by Nor'easter Game Calls. This is our signature Blood Series grunt call. You want to give that a whirl real quick for the audience there, Trev? So what you want to replicate, what you were saying earlier, is paint the bigger picture, which is beautiful. Do that again real quick, because in a real world, in a real deer world, you'll hear more something like this. And then you might even hear the rubs happening, which I can't replicate for the sake of audio, but then a couple twigs breaking or branches breaking. So it really paints the picture, because for our listeners out there that might not know exactly what we're talking about, you do a grunt call or rattle even, you're going to get the deer to look up and pay attention for a split second. He'll look around and then be like, must not be nothing, because there's no movement afterwards. But once you add the rustling leaves or even breaking branches or even the rubs, then they're really paying attention. Oh, wow, what's that over there?
Right.
There's more deer over there. So it really, like you said, it paints the picture perfect.
This is something that we've been talking about. Like, I saw the product. D-Rock came to me the first day and was like, hey, you got to check out the tree thrasher. So I was like, all right. So I went over there, checked it out, looked at it, played with it, see what it was all about. I'm like, I was kind of with you on it. I don't know if I'm sold on it, right?
Right.
Then we had Larry McCoy in here, and he was talking about rustling leaves in different fashions. And so when I went home, I'm thinking about it. We started talking about it, and I'm like, you know what? This makes perfect sense, because you need more movement. And then I started thinking, I have a friend of mine who takes a pulley, and with a cinder block and has a pulley system and slams it on the ground of a buck stomping his feet or breaking twigs. And this call is...
Hold on just a second. He brings a cinder block to the tree?
So what he does is on his sets.
Set up already.
Oh, okay.
On his sets, on his sets what he does.
Like
whoa.
This guy's a baller. He's hardcore.
No, what he does is he has a pulley system and he has a cinder block strapped to it, so then he pulls it up and down on branches or whatever to indicate the same thing that this call is indicating.
Working his biceps.
Yeah.
You know? I pick stuff up and I put stuff down.
Right on.
But I mean, it makes perfect sense. So now looking at this is so perfect. It can fit in your back pocket. It's it's the size of your palm. I'm just kind of blown away at it now. Actually seeing it, playing with it, thinking, and having the whole weekend to think about it. This is a game changer, a big game changer in my world.
And what's the price point on this? Because you made it very affordable.
$39.99. Plus shipping, depending upon the time of year, etc. Obviously we run specials. I'll talk to you guys about doing a special, after the show here.
Awesome.
And then you can make some sort of formal announcement. But the one thing that I get a lot at the booth is people are super skeptical because they come in thinking it's a game call. Well, it's not a duck call that you blow on. It's not a grunt call that you blow on. It's there to augment what you're already doing. And a lot of people, don't understand that, and they're like, well, do I want another thing in my bag? And the fact of the matter is without that, you have a chance at calling a deer, and we've all grunted a deer, and we've all rattled a deer, but have we all rattled the bucks that are on the wall at Todd's house? No. So I had to sort of wrap my head around that. Like I said, I was skeptical. And then, once you realize you're chasing a different animal, there's a heck of a lot of difference between a 3 and a 4-year-old and a 5 and a 6-year-old. It's just different. I got to experience that this year in Iowa. Coming from Wisconsin, I drew an Iowa tag this year. It's just a different ball game. Not that Iowa's a different ball game, but what I was used to up in Wisconsin wasn't the class of deer that you had running around there.
That's really cool, man. And just to piggyback off of Trevor there, it's definitely a game changer. And the fact that it gets your mind going more into depth, because not just bow hunting, but the deer game is a big rabbit hole, if you will, quote unquote. Kurt Geyer, my buddy from Working Class, it's you go in as deep as you put into it.
Right.
So I mean, it's endless on how that hole is, and to really to quote another one of our buddies, Clint Casper from Ohio, he said you got to become one with the herd, and that's what this game call does. It allows you to become one with the herd and replicate the same sound effects that are in the woods naturally to get that in.
I mean, there's a lot of people that we know that go into the woods and act as a turkey to deer hunt. We have a couple of friends or buddies or whatever. They're going with turkey calls in their mouths or rustle leaves or do the same thing and just kind of make that natural, if you would, paint the picture for the whitetails. Kind of just make it natural. And this game call is definitely going to change that, because now you have, when you're 25 feet in the tree, how do you rustle leaves or act or make those sounds? Because a deer does grunt, but he also moves when he's on the ground, or a doe moves when they're on the ground, making those noises. And this game call does that.
Absolutely. And, to piggyback off that, with being a game changer, and what you're saying is you're really painting that picture for that deer. Because not only have we all called in bucks using grunt calls and rattling, but how many times have we not succeeded at that? You'll get their attention, they'll look at you, and they'll go, oh, what was that? And they'll keep moving. But if they hear that movement, like D-Rock, painting that picture for us with the actual sounds, that's when it really triggers them, and they come in looking for something.
Nice. And, one thing I want to add is Todd was just out on the East Coast, and he was at the Harrisburg show and sold a lot of these. And I would challenge anybody that has deer out in front of you, which is what I did to sort of get me hooked on it, and just take the call and see how they react, just simply by pulling it apart, and you'll get a sense for how they're going to react, whether it's buck, doe, whatever the case may be. They will react to it, and that's what got me hooked. And then, there's a certain amount of confidence that comes with using it, and I found that built my confidence in using it just alone by having the opportunity to see the deer. Because a lot of times we're not looking at them, right? You don't know that they're there. That was Todd's thing this year. We hunted a buck together, and felt like we really had it worked out to where he was at. But I was in Wisconsin, he was in Iowa, and so it'll be coming up on this year's video. But he went into about 75 yards from where we thought that deer was bedded. We talked about it 20 times, and finally he went in there and sat down, gave a grunt on a grunt call, did a Thrasher session, and from there, it probably wasn't 5 minutes, all on video, mind you. This buck comes just right to a tree. Todd was set up in the wrong tree, and he knew that going in, but it was really, I think Todd just wanted to prove to himself that he prove a point, I guess, right, is what it boils down to. And sure shit, here he came.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sounds like one of those individuals that we would get along with, especially our buddy Garrett Benner from the Modern Assassin from Maryland. Him and I, our wheels are always turning and coming up with new ideas and always trying to come up with the next game changer, if you will. Mm-hmm. Only because we apply ourselves all the time. These two hit the woods really hard all the time. And they always bounce ideas off with us. Well, what do you think about this? And what do you think if we applied this to the field? And it's someone that I know will be very well missed. And it's just maybe he can enlighten us with what he already set down as a foundation. And we could take lead with the pace he set for us.
Well, Todd definitely took the Midwest to the East Coast. He had a huge presence out there. When this happened, his email now is my email. I mean, I get all of his emails, right, and I still get comments from people out in PA or wherever they're from, but obviously East Coast. He just was a huge presence everywhere, and we've talked about it 100 times about the tragedy of losing Todd, and I think the true gauge of someone's authenticity as a person, when you find out whether a lot of people walk around, and I know I'm sort of running on here, but a lot of people walk around and try and be something that they think people want them to be. Fake news. Right. Yeah. Exactly. And Todd was never that guy. When I started this podcast, the White Knuckle podcast, I was trying to be somebody else, who I had heard. Mm-hmm. And I just failed. But we all learn, and I just learned to become myself. And the cool thing about Todd is he was always himself. He wasn't afraid to tell you his idea. Obviously if there was a trust there. It's been refreshing to, first of all, see the amount of support that we had here last night with the benefit auction that we did. Yes. For him, nearly $60,000 raised.
Holy moly, that's awesome.
So anybody that's in the outdoor industry needs to pat themselves on the back. We all compete. Let's face it, we do, right? Yeah. But we all laid our guns down last night. Nobody shot at each other, and we came together for a great cause. And the Prignitz family is grateful for that, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to be a part of this family, and I'm proud.
Yeah, that's awesome. And our prayers go out to his family. He did leave a beautiful infant child and beautiful wife, and it's something that everyone's really going to be very supportive continuing, I believe. Because that's one thing, although we are in competition with each other as far as whatever product we might be pushing or whatever services right. we might be providing, but at the end of the day, like you said, they put their guns down, we're all on the same side.
Right.
And that's what it's about. And I really think, although the numbers have declined this past year as far as conservation numbers, I really think it's really taken an impact because statistics aren't always accurate in the sense of morality shift. And I really think this year is going to be the year where everyone just really comes together and really pushes and goes that extra mile to bring those numbers back up. And we've been talking about this a lot on our show. Our main focus, honestly, is women. I really think that's going to be the key in the fact of getting those numbers because, for one, they're more approachable for mm-hmm. the anti or the non. And then, as well as that, they seem to be, I'm not speaking for every man out there, but they seem to be better with children to get children and boost those numbers up.
Right.
Because that's where it begins.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I agree. I recently interviewed a gal by the name of Dana Monroe. She works for Kafaru.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't remember who had her on their podcast, and I guess it doesn't matter, but she kept talking about her why, why she hunted. I think it's that's maybe a woman thing. She very critically thought about why she was going to hunt. She didn't, a lot of us just went hunting because that's what our dad did. We just want
to go out and kill shit.
right on. But it was refreshing to listen to her talk, and man, she's got a bright future ahead of her, and she's a smart girl. We're gonna bow hunt together this fall in Wisconsin, and
awesome. That's awesome.
That'll be fun.
Heck yeah. When we were at the Harrisburg show, and there was a couple of girls down there, Jess Breyer, and there was
Jessica Byers,
sorry, and Caitlin and Brittany.
Caitlin Moss and Brittany Barnhart.
That's why I bring them around.
I knew who you were talking about.
Yeah. So, and sitting in front of them, they're just complete savages. Like, as far as killers, like there's no difference in them and between men and women when it comes to hunting.
Except for they have more class,
right?
Right. Yeah, way more class.
But when talking to them, they're serious about it, and
they're on fire.
They get down to it, and it's on. When it's on, it's on, and it's an amazing thing to see. And you just growing up, you don't see that. You know what I'm saying? When I was growing up, anyways, and it's just so cool to see. And the women are definitely gonna definitely sculpt the way for us.
So you made it to our first segment, Jason Syens, Ninja Tip of the Day. What good advice can you give to the outdoorsman in general, or anyone in life? The Ninja Tip of the Day.
The Ninja Tip of the Day. You want a tip on life? No. Boy, there's so many right now. Let's talk about hunting.
Okay.
I can tell you what not to do.
That's good advice.
Yeah, let's do it.
Don't overthink this. Especially guys like us, we get into these situations. We talk hunting, and you get in this, whether you're talking to Dan Infault or, Pat Nicole or Mark, or, any of those people, we're just, average people that hunt on the weekends. You get to thinking that one way is the way. Like if you're talking about Dan Infault, you're talking about that 1/3 elevation line on a hill, 1/3 below the top, and you got to be there. And this year I got into that mindset, and I got stuck. And you can't go away from obvious things. Like I saw a rub line that was 40 yards long, not on the 1/3 line. Like duh. Yeah. I still have my Wisconsin tag from last year.
Oh, man. I know exactly what you're talking about. I was there this year.
Oh man, that's really cool. So is there anything in the horizon that you may know about tree Thrasher products?
Well, obviously with Todd's passing, it changes things. I'm a marketing guy. I spent 28 years in the car business. My last day was last Thursday.
Congratulations!
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Man, I'm pumped. I'll be doing real estate after we get all this figured out. I'll be getting into real estate, and I'm super excited about that. But in terms of tree Thrasher, we had a grunt call that was 2 days.
Really?
From being approved. So
wow.
I know what the price is to get it tooled. Todd was fiddling around, going back and forth with a couple different plastic reeds. I'm just like, dude, pick one. But that's not Todd. He got back from Harrisburg and he's like, I don't know if I like it. And I'm like, dude, you blew on it like 10,000 times over the course of 9 days. Right. Like, no one's ever going to blow on it that much. You loved it when you started. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I got to think about this. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. I've just learned, to just shut up and let him do his thing because he figures it out. So, right. Yeah. So I don't know exactly where it's going to go. I can tell you this: there's enough interest out there.
Okay.
that it's whatever is best for Katie and Baker is what my intention is.
That's awesome. And you know what? Almost lost. So actually, what I wanted to ask, and I don't know if you may know who's obviously his wife takes over the company, but there must be some type of exterior support to help her along the way. Is this going to be something that's going to be, obviously the tree thrasher is going to continue, but the company itself, do you see that growing in the future? Considering the unfortunate accident.
I think the product will not go away. I think there's just too much interest out there. I think the name will be Tree Thrasher. Who's distributing it? That's up for grabs right now. We'll see. We've got some people to talk to. I've got some meetings to attend and stuff like that. And ultimately, it's going to be Katie's call. And fortunately for her, she's got a lot of people to ask. Mark Dury was nice enough to come up and talk to me here at the show, and that's just a great example of how tight knit this industry is. Mark's owned a couple of call companies, so he's willing. He's not interested in having a call company, but he's interested in helping us inform Katie about the right decision.
And the help is always there. He's actually really down to earth, cool dude. It's really cool. Not to get off subject, but just to run into him, and that just to piggyback off what you're saying, it's a close knit network that you can approach him and he'll just talk to you like because he is that everyday guy, is just on a different level. And even just to see him at Beer Can Alley, and we were just bouncing off, cracking one and just talking deer really. And just to really just get off subject, because we're on all day long, especially at trade show season, and just to take a break from it all and just really be ourselves is really cool. Really cool. Let's hear it. Usually we have our rattlers, but we forgot them in the truck, so we have to improvise.
It worked.
So, Jay, what rattles your antlers in the hunting industry? What gets under your skin?
People gauging the score of an animal, not the amount of memories they make while doing it. I think we get too caught up. In many ways, as an industry, we've made deer hunting in many ways in this unattainable goal. We've painted this picture that you need this or you need that, don't measure your success by the antlers, please, because you're just going to be disappointed. If there's anything that's going to help people to get into this sport, which is what we need more than anything, it's about having fun, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
That was Todd's favorite saying. Every film school that we've ever ended, I always let him finish it up, and it was always one thing, guys. If you're not having fun doing this, don't do it.
I agree 100%.
Yep.
So when people start to, bang on other people online about this deer that they shot or that deer that they shot, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Just let people shoot what they want.
Yeah, it's bullshit. You just gotta drop the fake news, quote unquote, and just be real. I know it sounds cliche, but when we say be real, just be true to yourself and who you are.
Right.
Yep. That's awesome. I agree. That rattles my antlers too, man.
Yep.
And we really thank you for taking your time. I know you've been really busy this weekend, and
oh my goodness,
it's like we knew each other before even meeting each other. It felt like, and luckily your staff there is so approachable, very very nice individuals, and I'm like, well, just please relay the message because everything going on. I mean, it needs to be out there, especially with your buddy, the unfortunate accident, and continuing his legacy. He set the pace, man. He set the pace.
That's goal number one. It's to continue his legacy because he was a big presence in any room. Yeah.
Awesome. I almost feel him right now. Like I don't know. I I get in touch, and I'm an emotional dude, and just thinking about it, I just put myself in that perspective, and it's like, man, you know, he really set the pace, and we're going to follow for sure.
Right on. Yeah, sure. I don't know if you guys were there last night, but just what an incredible feeling. If there was ever a time in my life where I felt moved by the Holy Spirit, you know, there was something going on there last night that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I feel fortunate, and I know the Prignitz family does as well. So we definitely appreciate all the support.
Yeah, without a doubt. So let's end on something positive. Trev, what you got?
Something positive. Just being at the show once again, and learning new products and the tree thrasher and just everything that it has to offer. And I see it going very far and taking care of his family that with his loss and everything like that. I just see a lot of positive coming out of this and yeah.
Cool. Ryan, what you got?
Cool. Something positive for me is just being part of this hunting industry. Whether it's coast to coast, worldwide, we're a big family, and we look out for each other. Like we were saying, you know, we put our guns down at that benefit, and that's what we're there for, is pulling everyone together, just being one big community.
Awesome. Jason Syens, White Knuckle Productions representing the Tree Thrasher. What you got? Something positive.
Something positive is, the something positive has to be the overall theme, the unintended theme for this show, and that was unity. I saw a lot of that this weekend, and it was great to see. The next couple of days are going to get tough because I've been running my ass off for 2 weeks. Tonight's going to be a little bit scary because it's going to be quiet for the first time in 2 weeks. So
yeah.
But there's a lot of positive things to cling on to. Man, I could go into Todd's stories forever. I know you guys didn't get to meet him, but he was a great bow hunter. He did things his way, and he would never sacrifice his ethics, his morals, and what he believed in for anyone.
That's awesome, man.
That's positive.
That is positive.
Very positive.
What I bring positive to the table is just this right now. Again, I feel like he's watching. Last night was surreal. Something was there. Can't explain it, but I mean, there is a higher force, and we felt it. And I'm glad you brought that up because unity is the unexpected theme for this weekend for sure.
For sure.
And anything that we could provide for Tree Thrasher and his family, and even yourself, just let us know, and we'll definitely push the product at the very least, just to continue the legacy and follow suit. So on that note, stay stepping
and stay slaying.
Podcast go straight to hell. Yeah. Speaking of hell, check out East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
We keep it real on East Coast. First of all, I'm addicted to the show.
I like that. That's cool.
Full hunt, you live it, you breathe it. It's a whole different world.
Just East Coast has a little bit more of an edge and a grind.
It's a fantastic thing.
You guys are fucking awesome.
Well, number one is you guys like beer. I want to feel like I'm hanging with the boys.
You're the guys that showed up.
But I actually saw Jesus.
The point where it is now where it's insane.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
I just want to get the realest people possible in the industry. It's going to piss people off. We're not doing it right.
Nothing forced. All fucking natural.